Hey everybody, so a little update on the 76 Jeep J10. I've been working on this thing for like maybe 6 hours today. Worked on it last night for about 3 or 4. Trying to push to get this bed in here, and I wanted to show you guys how I am going to be installing this bed, because I'm sure some of you are curious. And I know that I think this is the only time or the only video out there showing somebody rebuilding their bed. Most people just get rid of the bed, they put like a flat bed on, they get a donor bed, they put that one on. I've even seen people take sheet metal and like put it over top of the old bed that's rusted out, like not even cut it out, just like put sheet metal on for like a quick fix or something. But I've never actually seen somebody physically take out the entire bed floor and the cross members and basically rebuild it like I'm doing. So I hope this helps people, who are thinking about doing the same thing. Anyway, so let me show you what I'm doing right here. So I got 2 cross members done, or bed supports, whatever you want to call them. The original Jeep support was right here where this hole is on both sides of the frame, but the measurements are different on this bed as far as where the original cross members were for this one. I'm going to stick with the originals for this one because this bed is half as thick as the Jeep one, and this bed also has 6 cross members or bed supports. The Jeep only had 5. So there would be one right here where my finger is below these holes. Then there would be one right here where my finger is where the holes are. Then there's another one right here. Then there's 2 more already on the bed still. And then there's 2 more up here. This would be the end, like the head of the bed right here. Now, the only problem I have with this is because this bed is half as thick as the Jeep bed, and I'm sure the Dodge engineers or Chrysler engineers knew what they were doing as far as this goes, but the gap between this one and this one is pretty large. It's like 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet, and the problem with that is, like, because it's so thin, if I step there or if I put something heavy, is that gonna like bend the floor? I'm not really sure, because the gaps between these 2 and then these 2 are much smaller than this larger one here in the middle, and then same with these up here. So the other problem is this bed support right here is actually going to be in the middle right here, and there was no bed support like that for Jeep right there. The only ones they had was this, and then this one. There's like a 2.5 foot gap between the 2, and the reason why is because Jeep has their gas tank right here. It's like a 18 or 20 gallon tank or whatever that goes right here, and with a bed support or cross member right here, I think that gets in the way if you use like a thick C channel, or sorry, U channel. And because I'm pretty sure the gas tank is like right up against the floor almost. There's like maybe an inch or a couple inches gap, but that's it. So I won't be able to put that C channel, or sorry, that U channel there, I don't think, because it might be in the way of the gas tank. If that's the case, then I'm going to have to use a T-post. If you guys don't know what a T-post is this. You use it like out in the country for like fencing, like chicken wire fencing and stuff, and the T-post is 3/16 thick, so it's even twice as thick as the bed supports, the original ones. All you'd have to do is just cut these spines off and then weld it where the flat part is on this, and this is why they call it a T-post. If my phone will focus, my phone won't focus on this thing. This is why they call it a T-post, because it's shaped like a T, and because of that T, it's so strong, so if you try to put a lot of force here in the middle, it's not going to bend because it's pushing out on that lower section down there, so it doesn't have any give. So this is as strong or nearly as strong as these, or probably stronger actually, because I can bend those. I can't bend this, but I might have to put something like that in this section instead, right here, because this one right here is actually exactly in the same spot that the original Jeep mount was, right here and right there. And then that middle one right here is actually going to be right here where my finger is. The other one used to be right here for the Jeep one. So it's going to be over there on that flat spot. And then, of course, then you have this one right here and then this one over here. So the way I did these bed supports was I measured from the bottom lip of this to this one right here, which was 25 inches. And then 25 inches from this lip right here, which is where the bed is going to stop, over to the frame this is 25 inches. So what I did was I took some of the U-channel that I cut off on these things, and I welded it to the bed, or sorry, the frame right here. And obviously I'm going to have to drill these holes bigger for bolts, and I can't like get a wrench in here and a nut or whatever, so I'm going to have to drill a hole through this and then through the frame below, and then obviously make a bigger hole for this. So when I put a bolt in here, it'll go all the way through this and then to the frame, and then I'll bolt it to the bottom of the frame. Same with this side over here, and I'm going to be using the original rubber. Dropped the other one, but this is the rubber that you put in between them. Actually, here's the other one. So the rubber goes in between that, so that way when the bed is, you know, wiggling and stuff like that and kind of moving on this, it doesn't squeak and make noises and stuff. I still have 3, I think, maybe 4 of the, yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I do have 4 of these. And I need to get rubber for the last mount over here. So I have rubber for this one, and this, but the other rubber mounts, I don't know where they went. I might have like swept them and threw it away when there was so much rust on the ground, but it's just rubber, hard rubber. So anyway, so these mounts are done right here. And then for the mount right here, the original one for Jeep was like a C-channel actually, and it was sitting like this, and it was open in here, and the C-channel, you know, went like this. I don't have C-channel, so I'm just going to use the U-channel. Like, why not? It works, right? And you can actually see the original mount was right here. So interestingly enough, is it was C-channel, and then it had like a mount, like a U-channel mount right here. You can actually see one of the original ones right here. For one of the other sides. This is not that side, but this is what the little weird mount looked like for Jeep. So I'm not going to do anything like that. So the bolt is right here, and then there's another bolt right there, and these 2 bolts along with this bolt, and then that one, and then one over here and there, and then these 2, that's how you take the bed off of the frame. So I'm not going to weld this to the frame. Obviously, that's retarded, because if I ever need to take the bed off, or if somebody in the future gets this Jeep and needs to take the bed off, you know, they're going to have to cut it off if I weld it. So I'm obviously going to bolt it on. So plus, to be honest, I kind of trust bolts better, you know, really big grade 8 bolts better than actually welds, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the reason why they rivet things instead of welding them on. But anyway, and in order to, and the reason why I did these little mounts right here was because this U-channel is only 1.5 inches in depth. You know, the depth from right here to here. The original Jeep was 2 1/4. So it's about 1 inch bigger as far as depth goes. And because of that, I have to make these brackets right here to make sure it lines up. Okay, and to make sure I had the right length, I used like a straight edge, this little straight edge right there, and I laid the straight edge up here and lined it across to make sure it was flat, and then obviously I marked it and cut it, so it'll be straight from here to here, and then obviously this one will sit on the frame, and then I have to measure with a straight edge again for this one and those as well, because all of these mounts have to be raised up a little bit because my U-channel is not as deep as the factory one from Jeep. And for this side right here, again, it's not as deep. So what I had to do, because you can see there's a gap right here where my finger is. There's a gap all the way across it. So what I did was I just cut some more of the U-channel, and I made like little, you can see this right here, like little supports or whatever like that. So there's going to be one on this side, one in the middle, and then one over here on this side. Sorry, one over here, one in the center, and then one on the side. The whole thing doesn't need supported because it is a U-channel and it's meant to support weight, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so I'm supporting it middle and both corners. And the reason why there's a bed support right here, because there's already one right here. The reason why there's one right here is because these corners are welded into the bed support, or this cross member at the end, and then they're also going to be welded into the floor right here on both corners. And the reason why they have that is because you can see the corners are very wobbly right now, and once you get the floor in here and you weld the floor to the walls, and then you weld the floor to this, and then to this corner right here, this thing will have hardly any give anymore. So it'll still move, obviously, because there's nothing, you know, holding it in the center. The tailgate needs to be on there, but that's all of this stuff has a reason. So, but that's how I'm going to do this. And the only thing I'm not sure of is, should I weld the cross members to the bed floor as the bed floor is out like this, so I can stand up and weld it in? Or should I weld it to the bed floor once I put the bed floor on top of them? That's the only thing. And the thing with these cross members is they're not as wide as these holes right here. These are like 4 inches, mine are 3 inches. So my cross member is going to be sitting right here. So that means all these holes have to be filled in with weld, and I have to weld it. I either have to drill through the bed again on the top and then weld them, you know, spot weld them from the top like they did, or I have to weld them, like I said, you know, like this, like from the underside, you know what I mean? The problem with welding them underside like that is, if I weld it after I put the floor on, I'm going to have to weld it underneath the car, and I really don't like welding underneath because, you know, the splatter can get in your ears and all that other fun stuff. So I think I might weld it from the top, or like I said, I can weld the supports on it as it's sitting like it is right now. So the only problem is if I weld it sitting like it is now and then I put the bed on, if my measurements were not exact, then I'm gonna have to pull it off and cut it off and move it, you know what I mean? So, but we'll see what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna lean to just welding it as the bed floor is off like it is right now. So I just got to make sure I measure twice and then weld once. So so I hope this helps you guys, if anybody is thinking about doing this to your own Jeep, and I hope, you know, this video is entertaining to anyone else. So leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'm going to be like all the other YouTubes. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe please. I appreciate all the people who have actually subscribed to the channel. To be honest, I didn't really make the channel to get tons of subscribers and be like a influencer, YouTuber type of guy. I just did it because I'm bored, and before I knew it, I have like 600 subscribers now. It just keeps going up and up. So I appreciate everybody who subscribed. I know the channel is like lights, guns, Jeeps, and I'm mostly doing Jeeps right now, but I promise I will get to the other hobbies. It's just I really want to get this done. This is more important than, you know, shooting a black powder gun to me right now. I really need to finish this thing, not just because I want to get it done and I want to drive it, but also it'll be really helpful around this property. I have piles of crap everywhere that I need to take to the dump, and I know I can rent a U-Haul for all that stuff, but I want to do it with my own car, you know what I mean? So anyway, thank you guys for watching.